boys and girls. Oh, it's so nice to be talking to you. My name is Rayner and I write and illustrate children's picture books, and I'm really pleased to be recording this event for you today. It's funny doing recorded events. I'm used to having all of you sitting on a carpet or maybe on chairs, and I get to talk to you and ask your questions and see your smiles. So I'm sorry that I haven't got to meet you this year, but hopefully I'll be able to come and say hello soon. But in the meantime, I thought I would read you some of my books and show you how I draw some of my pictures. So if you're ready, you might see some of my books around me. So we've got some here, some here. And I thought I'd start off. And what I like to do at the beginning of events is ask children to think very, very carefully about what makes them smile. Now, what makes me smile? I think I like chocolate and bubble baths and a good joke, and sunny days make me smile, and possibly also being tickled, because I'm a bit ticklish and I bet some of you are too. And I'm going to read you a story all about Augustus the tiger and his smile. Now, this was the first book that I ever wrote and illustrated, and Augustus is quite old now. I think he's about 15, but it's one of my favourite books because it's one of my first books, and I love reading it to children, so I'm going to share it with you too. Augustus the tiger was sad. He had lost his smile. So he did a huge tigery stretch. Can you all do a huge tigery stretch too? Feels good. And he set off to find it. First, he crept under a cluster of bushes. He found such a small shiny beetle, but he couldn't see his smile. Then he climbed to the tops of the tallest trees. He found birds that chirped and called, but he couldn't find his smile. Further and further, Augustus searched. He scaled the crests of the highest mountains where the snow clouds swirled, making frost patterns in the freezing air. He swam to the bottom of the deepest oceans and splished and splashed with shoals of tiny, shiny fish. He pranced and paraded through the largest desert, making shadow shapes in the sun. Augustus padded further and further through shifting sand until pitter, patter, drip, drop, plop. Can we all say that together? Pitter, patter, drip, drop, plop. Augustus danced and raced as raindrops bounced and flew. He splashed through puddles bigger and deeper. He raced towards a huge silver blue puddle and saw there, under his nose, his smile. And Augustus realised that his smile would be there whenever he was happy. He only had to swim with the fish or dance in the puddles or climb the mountains and look at the world, for happiness was everywhere around him. Augustus was so pleased that he hopped and he skipped and jumped away, smiling. There he goes. That's the story of Augustus and his smile. Did that book make you smile? I hope it did. Maybe it made you think about things that do make you smile. I'd love you to write down and email me what makes you smile, because chances are that whatever makes you smile will really, really make me smile too. And I tell you what else makes me smile: drawing pictures. I love drawing pictures, and in a little while, I wonder if I could, what I think I'll do is do some drawing at the end, because I have to move my camera. So at the end of reading you some stories, I am going to show you how I paint Augustus. Do you think you'd like that? It's quite good fun. It's very messy. You just need some black paint and some brown colouring pencils. Not hard at all. So I promise I'll show you that a little bit later on. So the chances are that some of you are really quite good at counting. Anybody there good at counting? Should we have a practice? I wonder if you can count along with me. Let's start. Should we just go to 10? We'll do 1, 2, 3. Are you still counting with me? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is fantastic, right? Because I've written a book all about counting, all about a giraffe called Abigail. She loves to count. I think she might need your help. So whenever you see numbers, or I say a number, why don't you count along with me? I'd really like that, and it's quite good fun. So, are you sitting comfortably? Have a little shuffle and a little shoogle, and if you're sitting nicely, which I'm sure you are, I wish I could see you. Abigail loved to count. It was her very favourite thing. She counted the spots on Ladybird. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. But Ladybird scuttled onto a leaf. There she is, right under that leaf there. Oh dear. So Abigail counted the leaves on the tree. 4, 5, 6, but somebody was eating the leaves. Crunch, munch, lunch. Abigail really wanted to count, so she started counting zebra's stripes. 7, 8, 9. It's incredibly difficult to count when you're moving, Zebra, grumbled Abigail. But Zebra just couldn't help it. And there was no point in even trying to count Cheetah's splotches. Whoosh! He was just too fast. Come back, everybody, said Abigail crossly. Oh dear, sighed Abigail. There must be something I can count. I know, just the thing, whispered Ladybird. She's just there. Ooh, there. Follow me. Oh, flowers, giggled Zebra. Come on, we'll help you count. Unfortunately, Abigail's friends were not very good at counting. 1, 2, 5, lots, bellowed Zebra. 1, 3, 7, many, laughed Cheetah. It was impossible. But Abigail was a very patient giraffe. Carefully, she showed her friends how to count. Are you ready to count along? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All day long they practiced until at last their counting was perfect. But by that time, it was dark. Oh no, grunted Zebra. How can we count when the sun has gone? Cheetah's tail drooped, and Ladybird frowned. But Abigail just smiled. Don't give up, everyone. Look. High above, the stars were twinkling, and they were not going anywhere. Together, Abigail and her friends counted all night long. 3 friends, 1,267 stars, and 1 Abigail. story. Abigail the Giraffe. Did you like that one? I really hope you did. I hope you enjoyed it. It's one of my favourites too. I think I quite like counting. I'm not really very good at maths, but I really enjoy counting things. So I did enjoy that book, and I really love starry skies, so it was very nice to be able to draw them. Now I've realised that I haven't told you where I am, and it must look a little bit strange because it's quite a messy room, isn't it, really? And there's pictures and books and plants I'm trying to look at, and framed pictures here, and more books, and I've got a scanner here, and you're on my computer, and I've got a lamp, which you can probably see. I'll point that. Is that all right? I'm trying to make sure that you can see me properly. And I've got a big table in the middle. This table here is where I do all my painting. And so on that table, which you can just about see there, are my paintbrushes, and in the background here are my inks. There's some more brushes. And that is where I draw all my characters for my books. So I will draw things like Abigail the Giraffe, Augustus the Tiger, Goldfish, which is my newest book. And I've got some paintings here actually. Here's a recent one. Some baby penguins. I'm trying to make sure the light is okay so you can see. It's funny doing things backwards. There are some baby penguins, and I paint them using, oh look, it's got a post-it note stuck to the bottom. Not using sweet onions, but using this kind of water, and there's a brush in it. There we go. And then I use pens and pencils, and I happen to have a handful here, so I'll show you what ones I use. Look, these are my pencil crayons. I've got loads on my desk. I'm a bit of a messy person, so if you can see my desk. And you can probably tell that I also like plants, because I quite like drawing plants, and on my desk I also have lots and lots of plants. But plants make me happy. I think they're really nice. And here are also the inks and the paints that I use. Can you see them? All different colours. And I also have a drink of water and have a keyboard for writing my stories, and a pencil for writing my stories, and more inks, and a tape measure for measuring things so that I can make sure that they're the right size. And behind me here, which you can just about see, is my chest of drawers. Now, shall we see what we've got in here? I'm going to show you a really secret thing that I probably shouldn't. This is a big brown bear, and he's for another book that comes out soon. He's a very friendly bear. I'd quite like to meet him. And in these drawers, I have also got some original drawings of a unicorn. And this unicorn is called Hardly. I paint on shiny paper because I really like the way that the paint looks when it's been painted on it. I wonder how clearly you can see that. He's painted in golds and silvers, so they shimmer. I might have a couple of other things. And what I do when I finish my drawings is I put them all in a big paper clip to keep them safe. I draw things over and over again, and then I put them safely in this drawer. And do you know what happens then? I tend to forget about them. I then work on the final artwork. So I do lots and lots of practice drawings, and then I'll do some final paintings, and they end up being the paintings that are in the book. Now, I'm going to read you the book about the unicorns. Sitting comfortably. This is quite a new book. I'm going to tell you about Minnie and Hardly and the big adventure. I wonder if you've been on any big adventures recently. Minnie and Hardly are still quite little. It's not easy being small, huffed Minnie. It's not easy being smaller, muttered Hardly. They would like to be a bit more grown up right now. There they are. Oh, there they are. If we were older, we could eat anything we fancied, marvelled Minnie, whenever we wanted. If we were a bit bigger, we'd be able to gallop much faster, said Hardly, and also big unicorns can neigh really loudly. There are hundreds of things we can't do just yet, stumped Hardly. We could stay up all night long, said Minnie, excitedly. We could play games until dawn. Hardly squealed, or go on a big adventure. Minnie kicked his heels in the air and they both bounced with excitement. Let's not wait. Let's go on that big adventure right now. So off they went. They trotted up hills and they cantered through cactus fields. They raced between mountains and flew over huge forests. They felt very big and very grown up and very important. Until... Where are we? Said Minnie. I don't know, answered Hardly, looking around. But the sky's getting dark. The waves are wild, trembled Minnie in a tiny voice. I hope there won't be thunder. I'm cold. Hardly started to shiver. Minnie and Hardly didn't feel quite so big anymore. Crash went the waves and howl went the wind. The little unicorns tried not to cry. Then, in between rumbles and crashes, they heard another noise in the distance. It sounded like the beating of wings. There you are, little ones. I was wondering where you'd gone. Come now, it's getting late, and it's time to go home. Minnie and Hardly walked along, thinking quietly for a while. It's actually quite nice feeling little, said Hardly at last. Yes, it is, Minnie agreed, and it's quite nice being looked after. We'll be big soon enough. Actually, Minnie whinnied. There they are, trotting home. I think we are fine just the way we are right now. Yes, we are. Right now we are perfect, laughed Hardly, and I'm not sure we're ready for big adventures just yet. So shall we just practice being big at home? Hardly asked. That's a good idea, chuckled Minnie. Let's grow up later on. Because after all, whispered Hardly, being small makes you perfect for the biggest of cuddles. Yes, said Minnie, it's lovely being small. Come to think of it, said Hardly, it's even better being smaller. Having a nice cuddle. It's Minnie and Hardly and the Big Adventure with a shiny cover. I hope you liked that. That one is quite a new one, and I've not read it to many people, so thanks for listening. I really enjoyed painting Minnie and Hardly. They are silver and gold unicorns, but I like to think that you could imagine them even just grazing and eating grass in a field near you, because although unicorns are quite magic, I think these guys are quite realistic and they could possibly exist. What do you think? Now, the thing that this book makes me think about too is, where would I like to go on a big adventure? And I asked some of my friends because I thought, where would everybody like to go? And some people said they liked to go on a safari, which I thought was a fantastic idea. And some people thought they might like to go to an island or go on a big ship. And it's funny because it made me wonder where I would like to go on a big adventure. And I think I'd like to go and watch whales somewhere, whales and dolphins in the sea. But I also like having little adventures at home, or big adventures really. And sometimes I like to just go and explore the woods near my house, or I like to just go on a nice walk nearby, and that's just enough fun. Anyway, I think it might be time to read you yet another story. Do you think you can manage another story? I do appreciate that this is quite a lot of stories in one go. And I hope you're good listeners, but I'm sure you are, because I've heard good things. So I was wondering what I should really read to you next, because, you know, I've read you Arlo. Oh no, I haven't read you Arlo. I think I might save that till last. Arlo is about a sleeping lion. But the thing is, something very exciting is happening next month, and I'm going to tell you a secret. I've just yesterday received in the post a copy of my next book, which comes out next month, which is in about, what's it, 6 days? 5 days! So this book comes out in 10 days, and I haven't read this book to anybody. So would you like to be the very first people to ever hear this book? Yeah? Would you like to hear the book? Right, okay. I'm going to do it. I'm going to read you the book, and I'd love to know what you think. And the book is a little bit special because it's all about my pet Goldfish, and he is called Richard. And this book is a true story. And I love goldfish. I've always loved goldfish. I think that they're really beautiful, magical animals. They're really, really amazing to watch, and therefore even, so beautiful to draw. And I would highly recommend drawing some goldfish at some point when you're having a rainy day at home, or when you even just want to practice some drawing, because sometimes it's just nice to sit and draw. My children sometimes just say, "Mummy, can we just do some drawing, please?" for no reason whatsoever. And because we've got a fish tank in our kitchen, they do very often draw our fish. So here's a true story. And if you're sitting comfortably still, and I know it's a long time to sit, but hopefully you're enjoying yourselves, I'm going to read you a story that is literally, well, it's a secret story because nobody's heard it before. How exciting. Are you ready? I have to see if I can do it. I've not read it aloud before. Okay, here we go. There we go. I'll get the light right so you can see it. It's gone ever so grey here. It's really raining. And I've got special lights to try and make it all bright, but it doesn't seem to be working perfectly. There, that's better, isn't it? When I was 4, I got my first ever pet, a fish, no bigger than my hand, little hand, with red and orange scales. My very own goldfish. He didn't have a name yet, so I got to choose one, and I called him Richard. Richard went to live in the big tank in our kitchen with all my sister's fish. There were lots of plants for him to nibble, rocks for him to suck, and pebbles to search through for bits of food. After school, I would tell Richard about my day. He would swim over when he saw me, wiggling his tail. If I gently touched the glass, he would follow my finger. People think goldfish forget things quickly, but that can't be right, because Richard definitely knew who I was. One day, my friend Sandy came over to meet Richard. Sandy lives next door, and he knows a lot about fish. Richard was hiding. At first we couldn't see where, then we spotted him. When he's still, Sandy told me, that means he's having a nap. Even though his eyes look open, that's because fish don't have eyelids. Richard seemed to hear Sandy. He swam up to the surface and started blowing bubbles. He does that when he's hungry, I said, and gave him some fish flakes. He likes eating these, but worms are his favourite. He sounded impressed. I wonder if my fish likes worms, I thought. Sandy showed me the pond in his garden. It was full of goldfish. They wiggled and whirled through the water, their scales shining. These fish were much bigger than Richard. Look, there they all are, swimming about. I looked closely. There were some tiny grey fish too, the size of dots. And I don't know if you can see them on here, but there's some little fish. You can see them all swimming in the shadows. Look at those ones, I said, pointing. Those are the babies, said Sandy. Their scales will get brighter as they grow up. Sandy's fish were all different shapes, sizes and colours. There was even one that looked like it was wearing goggles. That one's a telescope goldfish, Sandy told me. She's very fancy. Look at her goggles. A huge fish swam up to us. It was nearly as long as my arm. This is Goldie, said Sandy. He's 18, even older than my brother. Richard's only 2, I said, frowning. But if he gets as big as Goldie, he won't fit in our tank. That's okay, Sandy told me. Then he can live in our pond. And you can see him all the time. I liked the sound of that. Richard would have a lot of space for swimming and new friends too. How are all the big friends? The big fish. It's a huge fish. Richard grew and grew and grew. When he was 4.5, he was finally ready to live in Sandy's beautiful pond. I go and see him all the time. I sit by the edge of the pond and he swims up, doing the same happy little dance and wiggling his tail as if to say, remember me? There he is. That's the end of the book. Now, in this book, you may have spotted some small words, and those words are facts. There's also some exciting things in this book. This is the fish tank at the front, and at the back, there's the fish pond. I really enjoyed painting those pictures. I love painting underwater. Using the fish tank again here. I'm going to read you a few of the facts because I just think fish are fascinating. Goldfish need plenty of space to grow properly, so you need a big tank to keep them in. I knew that. Scientists believe that goldfish can remember things for up to 5 months. That's even longer than me. Goldfish have very good eyesight. They can see even more colours than humans. They're clever little things. Oh, here we go. Goldfish don't have lungs like we do. They breathe using gills. Interesting. Oh, there we go. Goldfish use their eyesight and sense of smell to find food, just like us. And oh, there's a little good fact here that says baby goldfish are called fry. She's very sweet. Now, this is one of my favourite facts. There are over 200 different kinds of goldfish. Different species include comets, it's a nice word, shubunkins, bubble eyes, butterfly tails, and pom-poms. And I think there's one more fact here. Look, the oldest ever goldfish was 43 years old. That is super old. That's a really old goldfish. Oh, there's another fact. Goldfish can grow up to 30 centimetres long. Now, I've got my measure, which I showed you before, and 30 centimetres is, here we go, other end. It's really, really big. That big. That's bigger than the book. That is a big goldfish. I just think they're absolutely magnificent animals. Anyway, some of you might even have your own pet goldfish. I wonder if any of you have got your own pet giraffes. I doubt that somehow, but maybe you do. I wonder if you've ever seen a giraffe in the wild. Who knows? But I'm going to read you one last story, just one final one. And this one might make you feel a little bit sleepy. So what I think you should do before I read it to you is I think you should have a big stretch. Oh, baby yawn. Oh, baby yawn. Oh, a bit of a wriggle. Oh, really, I'm yawning now. It's a bit of a wriggle. And get yourself all nice and comfortable. And then I'll read you He's shiny. This is Arlo. Nearly missed a page. Arlo was a very tired lion. He had tried everything, but he could not get to sleep. The grass was too prickly and the earth was too hard. The trees were too noisy, but the desert was too quiet. The sun was too hot, but the night was too cold. His family were warm, but they wriggled too much. Everybody knows that lions need a lot of sleep, and Arlo was exhausted. Will I ever sleep again? Arlo sighed. But Arlo wasn't the only one who was awake. Of course you will, said a voice from above. I sleep through the day when it's bright, noisy and hot. Shall I tell you how? An owl began to sing. I'm not going to sing because I've got a really terrible voice, but I shall poetically say it to you. Have a good stretch from your nose to your toes. Do a little wriggle. Let your eyes gently close. Relax your whole body. Slow your breathing right down. Imagine you're sinking into the soft ground. Think about places where you'd like to be, the things that you do there, and what you might see. As you fall into calmness, so comfy and deep, your mind will rest and you'll drift off to sleep. Arlo stretched, wriggled, and tried to relax while Owl sang her song once more. Arlo thought of the places he would like to go and see. He imagined bounding up mountains, wading in rivers, and climbing enormous trees. Then Arlo imagined he might need a rest, so he pictured himself cuddled up with his cosy, snoring family. And before he knew it, he was sleeping too. Arlo woke up feeling the sun in his coat. He had been asleep for hours and felt happy, fresh and full of energy. He couldn't wait to tell Owl. Little Owl, roared Arlo, I slept, hooray! Well done, came a tired voice from above, but now you've woken me up. I'm sorry, said Arlo. Shall I sing your song to you? Owl nodded her tired head. And Arlo began to sing. And while he sang, Owl thought of the places she would like to go and see. She imagined flying over open waters, soaring high and fast and gliding through wild forests. Before she knew it, Owl felt starlight on her feathers. She had slept through the day and felt wonderful and rested. Hooray! Arlo and Owl cheered. We're pleased you've slept, but now you've woken us all up. The grumpy lion pride grumbled. Sorry, said Arlo, but we know what to do, hooted Owl. And Arlo and Owl sang together. Are you ready? Have a good stretch from your nose to your toes. Do a little wriggle. Let your eyes gently close. Relax your whole body. Slow your breathing right down. Imagine you're sinking into the soft ground. I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. Oh, excuse me. Think about places where you'd like to be, the things that you do there, and what you might see. As you fall into calmness, so comfy and deep, your mind will rest and you'll drift off to sleep. And before long, everyone was asleep. Everyone, including Arlo. Everyone, that is, except Owl, who looked out over her friends, spread her wings, and flew silently away, looking forward to the long, quiet night ahead. And that is the story of Arlo, making him shine, the lion who couldn't sleep. There he is. Now, I'm going to do some drawing. So I'm going to pause this camera and I'm going to set up another camera so you can see here, which is really exciting. So I'll pause this and I'll say bye-bye from here. And hello, here I am. It's me. I'll say hi. At my drawing table, and I'm going to draw you a picture, and what I'm going to use is one pencil, they're all very small because I use all these pencil crayons quite a lot, a pen and some ink. And I thought you'd like to see how I drew Augustus, because he's quite fun to draw because he comes together quite quickly on a piece of paper. So now here, just make sure you can see, I'm watching the camera as well. Here we go. Here he is. Now he's got an ear here and an ear here, and then he sort of comes down like this, doesn't he? There he is. And there's a smile. Very important. I hope we've all been thinking about what makes us smile. Here are his stripes. Well, they're sort of stripes, aren't they? No, they are stripes, those ones. And here are his other stripes. So he's really just made up of lots of different sort of shapes, like squares and triangles and straight lines, circles and squiggly bits. Now, this is my favourite coloured pencil in the world, and they don't make it anymore. So I'm sharing my last dregs of my pencil crayon with you lot. So I hope that you like this. So what I'm going to do is, there we go, colour him in. Now this is a special watercolour pencil crayon, and what watercolour pencil crayon means that if you rub over it with water, it goes all nice and runny. So I'll show you that in a minute. So I'm going to use that brown, and then I'm going to use a slightly darker brown for his darker brown bits, like this. And then I'm going to smudge it all a little bit just to make him look really 3D and really nice. So here are his dark brown bits. And I know he looks terribly scribbly at the moment, but in just a few minutes, he's going to look really, really watercolory and nice. And whilst I'm over here, I'm going to pick up a pink pencil crayon too. So here we go. I've got a mug of water. I've got a pink pencil crayon for his nose. I didn't want to forget that bit. I've got a cup of water. And look what happens. Just dip your fingers in there. And look, it goes and turns into paint, which is really lovely to work with. So here he is. There we go. I'll add it all around here, all around his nose, all around here. And then one of my most used pieces of equipment, and you'd never guess what it was, is let me plug it in, hang on. I bet nobody can guess. Try guessing. What do you think it is? Do you think it's oh, hang on, I think I've plugged in the wrong thing now. Have I? Or have I not? I bet you really, really don't know what this is now. You'll never guess. Let me see. It's a hairdryer. So have I plugged it in? Yes, I have. I use a hairdryer, and it just means that it dries a little bit more quickly. So sometimes, even if I come to see you, I'd bring my hairdryer with me because I'd need to dry my pictures when I was drawing to you. So now, I think I might use this pen now. I'm going to draw his eye and some lines around here, his ears, his nose, his smile, his dots. His dots are very important. And here we go, we'll do a bit more of this. And then in pencil crayon, I think I'll draw this. And some more lines here. And maybe go up here a little bit of beard, but there's something missing. I can't really remember what it is. I know. It was the stripes. Augustus needs stripes. Stripes make him look ever so smart. And here they are. And this is just ink, so you could use any kind of black paint you liked. But you can see it spreads a little bit, which I really like because it makes him look furry. So here we go. Some lovely tigery stripes. I think tigers are one of my favourite animals too. I like guinea pigs, goldfish, tigers. I like horses as well. I wonder what your favourite animals are. Here we go. So, there we go. Here we go, and one more stripe. Oh, I don't want to go wrong at this point. Mind you, you can't really make mistakes in illustration, which is why it's one of the most lovely things. And I sometimes think a wobbly line is one of the nicest things in the world. And there is Augustus. You see, it wasn't so hard after all, was it? And what I will do now is some whiskers, because whiskers are my favourite things to draw. There we go. Put some other little lines in here. Oh, you can maybe hear that wind howling outside. There we go. And that is how you draw Augustus, and also his smile. Like that. Did you enjoy seeing the painting? It's quite funny painting on camera, because usually I'm in my studio on my own. But the time has come for me to say goodbye. So I want you to say goodbye to Arlo. Say bye, Arlo. Goodbye to Abigail. Goodbye, Abigail. Goodbye to Augustus. Bye, Augustus. Pleased to see you still smiling. Goodbye, Minion Hardley, with a shiny cover and speckles. And goodbye to our new friend, Richard the Fish. Bye, Richard. And I hope you've really, really enjoyed hearing those stories. And I hope also that you might feel inspired to go away and draw your own tigers using squares. And if you have a look on my website, I have made some drawing guides to make drawing pictures even easier for you and to give you some inspiration. So if you go onto catherinerayner.co.uk, and there's a little line that says free activities for children, and it's all completely free, and you can have a look and you can copy pictures from there, from the drawing guides, or you can download activity sheets, colouring sheets and word searches and things like that, which you really might enjoy. But it's goodbye from me in my studio. Thank you so much for watching and listening and hopefully joining in. Thank you for your counting, and thank you for your yawning and your stretching and your smiling. And I hope that I will get to meet you at some point soon. Have a lovely evening, sleep well like Arlo, and take care of yourselves. Goodbye.